Hello, friends. Welcome to my home in Brussels. I'm Marika. Let's see. I'm going to begin with a little song that is called I Am a Word. I am a word of hope and love. I bring honor to the world. I will push the darkness away. Can I come to your house and stay? I am a word. I am the root of all resistance. I bring light for us to grow. I will push the sorrow away. Can I come to your heart and stay? I am a word. I am the life you've left behind, the path that you now follow, the melody of your song, the place you can belong. I am a word of hope and love. I bring honor to the world. I will push the darkness away. Can I come to your house and stay? I am a word. I am a word of hope and love. And let us all try to be words of hope and love in this difficult time. I am coming to you live from Brussels, where I've been living for the past 3.5 years with my husband. We came here so that he could work on his dissertation or his doctorate in an area called the philosophy of technology. And so we've been here 3.5 years, and we were thinking that at the end of May, we would be heading back to the United States. We were hoping that, something would happen so that we would be able to stay in Brussels, but I don't think we were anticipating that something might be a global pandemic that has put our lives and many other people's in a bit of flux and uncertainty, chaos, if you will. And so part of the way that that I've been dealing with that uncertainty and that feeling of groundlessness that comes when I'm reminded that really I'm not in control is to embrace practices that help me cultivate a feeling of grounding, of joy, of hope. And for me, that's singing. And I use a form of songwriting that I call story to song. So I write music with people from their stories. And that first song that I just played is called I Am a Word. And that's a song that I wrote with my co-volunteer, a woman named Sarah Reeder Harris, here in Brussels. We've been volunteering together for the last 3 years at a refugee center in Brussels that is currently not accepting applications for asylum. A lot of European countries are closing their doors. I just shared a little link. It's a fundraiser site, but there's no pressure, of course, to donate. But if you're interested in learning more about the project, you can go to that site, and it's got a link to my website, guidingsong.com, where I have an archive of all the songs, so you can read about the process of writing them, listen to recordings, watch videos, and see photos. And you can also see there's a little video of the project that I created to just describe the project, and there's a written description and links to a book that we just published that's called On the Move: Poems and Songs of Migration. I hear it's a really great time to go into trying to sell things retail. Haha. It's not really haha funny. In fact, so I've been giving these concerts as a way to lift my own spirits and hopefully yours for over a week. And I'm determined to do it for at least 30 days. All of my yoga and meditation people say it takes 30 days to create a new habit. And maybe by then it'll just be a habit and I'll just keep singing to you forever and ever. But anyway, I'm digressing because that's what I do. I ramble on. But I've been creating some concerts with a theme. I had a day where I played love songs. I had a day where I just picked songs randomly from a pile, or I'd turn them upside down on the floor. So it was a little bit of mystery, just like life right now. And I wanted to sing songs today for people who are out of work, or who are seeking asylum and are finding borders closed to them. Before this all started, I remember reading about people thousands of people in these kind of waiting camps that had been created on the border with the US and Mexico because before you could go to the US, you could apply for asylum, you could stay in the US until you came up in front of a judge, or the process to plea your case, which already I think is ridiculous. I mean, like, if you want to have a safer life, you just be able to go somewhere that's safe. But anyway, politics aside, it makes me really nervous thinking about what will happen when the coronavirus, COVID-19, hits these places where people don't have the kind of luxuries that I feel really privileged to have. So I wanted to sing songs this hour, songs that I've written with asylum seekers in Brussels, and also songs that I wrote when I used to live and work in Lowell, Massachusetts at Lowell National Historical Park, it is a national park that shares the stories of factory workers, of people migrating to Lowell to work in the factories from overseas. That's a story that that also is relevant here in Belgium and maybe where you're living. So it'll be a mix of happy, whimsical songs, and I hope that you enjoy them. I'll try not to talk too much and play more of the music. So this song I want to play is called "I Was a Mill Worker," and I wrote this at the national park. There were there are these videos that were interviews with the last generation of people who worked in the factories in Lowell. They were mostly the children of immigrants. And this method of songwriting that I use, I start with a story and then I use the words from the story to write a song. And so I transcribed their interviews and then I used their words to write a song. So this is called "I Was a Mill Worker." People who never seen a mill, well, they don't know what it's like. They just wear the clothes, don't ever think about how a man worked hard to make those clothes. I was nervous, learning a new job, and I was so very young. But my father was the only one working, and I had to help him. So I left school, and I was a mill worker all my life. I worked hard for every penny I earned, every penny, all my life. You work piecework, you gotta keep that thing going. Don't ever slow it down, 'cause the minute it stops, you're losing money, and that's gonna hurt. everyone. The mill was like a second home for decades of my life, like walking from the living room to the dining room, and then everything was sold for parts, and I was a mill worker all my life. I worked hard for every penny I earned. I worked hard for every penny I earned. And I was a mill worker all my life. And I worked hard for every penny I earned. Every penny all my life. So that was one of the songs I wrote when I was a park ranger at Lowell National Historical Park, with the flat hat, the gray and green fatigues, for better or worse, and it was a pretty cool place to work. Lowell had the benefit of having a forward-thinking politician who he kind of saw what was amazing about Lowell, these old factories, and that kind of unique architecture, but also the fact that there was a lot of potential for the city to be a creative place. And so he commissioned artwork and statues. He put in place affordable housing for artists. So when I moved there and I was just beginning to kind of try on the hat of the musician and an artist, I came to this place that was just thrumming with creative people who really supported me and who helped me feel like maybe I really was an artist and a musician. And I used to play these songs when I would do museum tours, because we had this floor that was all an authentic weave room with looms working and running, and the sound and staff actually weaving cloth. And we had old trolleys. We would give trolley tours. We would go on the canals, and we would do canal tours where we'd talk and point out the factories and talk about the people and the place over time, and why it was an important part of US history and part of really global history. And the Industrial Revolution has gotten us to where we are now, for better or worse, in this economic kind of shutdown, because we're so reliant on consumer goods and retail that suddenly, when those economic pistons can't be pumping, people are out of work. And I am pretty ashamed to be from a country where our president is more concerned with the stock market than relieving people of financial troubles during this time. I mean, there's countries in the EU that are governments are paying salaries for people, encouraging restaurants and shops to keep people employed, even though they're not currently making any money. It's so, there's a lot of, in any crisis, I think it brings out the best and also the worst in humankind. And so I'm at once just really amazed at some of the things that I read, and also really disheartened. And for me, at least, one way that I try to transcend fear and sadness is by singing. And it's also a way, I think, to share the stories of the people I've met, or whose stories I've written in song, and get them out there in the world to try to create a feeling of solidarity and empathy. And, no small task, but I think we all can do our part, especially in these times. So I mentioned that when I was starting this little concert, that I also I've been in Brussels for the last few years, and I've been writing songs with people who come to Brussels from other countries, seeking a better life for themselves, for their children. And I do that with my co-volunteer, Sarah Reeder Harris, who's originally from Scotland, but has been living here for many decades. And Brussels is just a cool place. because there's people from all over. So it's just really diverse. And it feels like a place that anyone could call home. And so this song seemed appropriate for this time is because it's called Love. And we wrote it with an asylum seeker from Afghanistan. So it begins with Dari. Ish chatur zindagi kar ranast, ish chizist kato anjam midi, toya kav kobi mikoni, wa ishishk namin ast. Love is how you live. Love is what you do. You do something good, and that is love too. Ish chatur zindagi kar ranast, ish chizist kato anjam midi, toya kav kobi mikoni, wa ishishk namin ast. Life is much too short. We have to carry on. The only ship there is the one we are all on. Ish chatur zindagi kar ranast, ish chizist kato anjam midi, toya kav kobi mikoni, wa ishishk namin ast. And that is love too. The only word that I really know in Dari is zindagi, which means life. And there's another song that I really love. I love all these songs. I mean, I'm biased because I've met all of these people. At least I've met them in person here, working with asylum seekers, or through their stories and the interviews that I was talking about with the last generation of factory workers. I feel like I've met them, like I know them. Music is just this really incredible way to connect with people, and story and art and poetry. There's something, at least for me, about music where when I hear a song about someone, I feel like I know them, and that's a really incredible thing. So, it's no small thing, especially in these times. So I'm going to play another song for you. That's the first song that I wrote with Sarah and asylum seekers at Petit Chateau. And like so many of these songs, the message is really one of hope. It's called Never Give Up. And it's also inspired by the Dari line, Zindagi Shams Dawam Darad, which means in life there are second chances, or the idea that life gives second chances. And normally we have like a little bag of rhythm instruments. I don't know if I have that over here right now. Oh, here it is. I'll go grab it. So if you have hands and you can clap or snap your fingers, or maybe you have a little instrument at home that you're just like, what can I do with this tambourine that I've had hanging around? Well, look no further, because this is a fun way that we can have a sing-along and be connected across time and space and that magical place called the internet. Normally, when I play this, I start with a little bit of kind of like dramatic flair, like in life, you take your instrument. There are second chances. You can start again. Never give up. Never give up. Life is here and now. And that line is kind of like a refrain that you can sing at the end of each verse. And then into the chorus. Never give up. Never give up. Life is here and now. Some people, they live in the past. They don't want to live today. They think too much, and they are alone. They don't know life is here and now. There are second chances. You can start again. Never give up. Never give up. Life is here and now. Don't worry about yesterday. Tomorrow isn't far away. Believe in your dream. Believe in your dream, and you will see life is here and now. There are second chances. You can start again. Never give up. Never give up. Life is here and now. Put the husky to sleep. You never know how long you will live. So be kind to everyone. You can fix your mistakes. It'll all be okay. If you can say life is here and now. There are second chances. You can start again. Never give up. Never give up. Life is here and now. And then there's that line, Zindagi shans doam darad. 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 Life is here and now. So that was the first song that we wrote, and it's really one of my favorites, and it's just so hopeful. It's the most fun to play with a group of people when I go to like open mics or do a little kind of concert here and there. I'm gonna always bring my bag of rhythm instruments, and then everyone can play together, and we create this really kind of magic energy. And and community, which I think is also really important during these times of uncertainty. And I feel really thankful that I have this kind of global community, and in my home I have my husband, I have the husky who's like so supportive. He's just like he's my biggest fan. He's really excited about these concerts, as you can see. I've got cats who are completely unperturbed and help me keep perspective. When I start to feel panic and anxiety and stress, they're like, everything's already all right. Don't worry about it. As I mentioned, so together with my co-volunteer, we recently published a book, and it's called On the Move, poems and songs of migration. So I'm going to do my once per concert plug. We've got several versions. We've got color, we've got black and white, we've got ones that you can buy from Lulu, ones from Amazon, trying to keep shipping costs low, basically, for people in different countries. And I'll show you like the song that, so here we have like, this is the black and white version. They're both the same, but the interior of the black and white one is black and white, and it costs a lot less. So we would try to keep it affordable. Like here's everyone has a story in color, and the song that I just played is it's the first one in the book because it's the first one that we wrote. And when you see, so like here's you can see there's the song and there's just the Dari and also the Dari characters. And here's the actual piece of paper that we put up on the wall where we wrote the song. So they're kind of fun. I mean, it's a poetry book, it's a music book, it's unique, and proceeds from book sales go towards raising money to record as many songs as we can. And then once those costs are covered, proceeds will go towards, we'll be donating to an organization that works with refugees each year. If you're interested in learning more, I've shared my GoFundMe link here and also in the description for my Facebook event. Every day my Facebook event is shared from my music page on Facebook that's just guiding songs, so it's pretty easy to find. If you want a little virtual reminder from YouTube, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, and YouTube will say, hey, Mark is singing live right now. Check it out. So I'm going to do, I'm doing this hour, I'm doing songs from factory workers that I wrote when I was a park ranger in Lowell, and I'm doing songs that I've written with asylum seekers, because I'm really thinking about the longer we go into this time of shutdown, lockdown, the more that, people who are dependent on jobs in retail, restaurants, people who have fled from war-torn countries and are coming to find borders closed. They're in a real place that's a real place of limbo and uncertainty. And so I really want to open my heart and all of our hearts to people in need. And if you're able, and I'm sure that there are organizations that you can donate to. Also, a friend of mine is doing a fundraiser right now to keep a helpline open for women who are who are suffering from domestic violence. So I'm going to really quickly share and try to find. I will find a link to his fundraiser also, in case you have the means and you want to support that. So this next song I'm going to play is called "You Are the Lucky One," and it was a story that came from Paul Heroux. So he's the son of Canadian immigrants to Lowell, and he told this story about when he was really young, first going to work in the factory and being simultaneously so grateful that he had a job, but also being really terrified and wanting to just run away and never go back. The first time they opened those doors to the weave room, the noise is deafening. It scares you. You feel like running out and going home. You never worked in a mill. It's very emotional. But you are the lucky one. You have a job. Yeah, you are the lucky one. You have a job. They bring you there and they match you with a battery hand. He shows you what to do. The room so long, you can't see the end of it. You keep telling yourself, I'll never be able to do this. But you are the lucky one. You have a job. Yeah, you are the lucky one. You have a job. You have a job. Yeah, you have a job. So I used to sing that. I remember singing that on trolley tours, and I would tell people, like, it's so easy. You know, here's the chorus. It's really simple. You are the lucky one. You have a job, and then it repeats. You are the lucky one. You have a job, and see if I could get people, you know, to sing along. It's always really fun as a musician for me to have people sing along, because I think it just creates a different energy, and it's like it's like it sends those stories and that energy out into the ethos, and you know, we need that. We need all those stories, all these people to be real for everyone. You know, because the past is never past, right? I mean, we keep repeating. We're like this species that can't quite remember the last crisis until, you know, something happens, and we're sort of knocked back into this perspective of, like, maybe we should change, maybe we should do things differently. And so this is just another one of those times when we can step back, reflect, reevaluate. Hopefully, you're in a safe place where you can do that. I'm singing songs this hour, this concert, this lockdown concert, in honor of people who are not in a safe space. Maybe they've lost work, and so they're not sure where their next paycheck or how they're going to put food on the table, you know, or maybe they're on their way from Libya to Italy, and they're going to set foot, you know, in a new country and find the doors closed, the borders closed to them. So I'm singing songs that I've written with asylum seekers, and also songs that I've written from the stories of factory workers in Lowell, Massachusetts, to just kind of create space to open our hearts to those people. So I just played a song called "You Are the Lucky One." That was from the story of a young man in Lowell first going to work in the factories, and this was in the 1900s. In Lowell, the first people to go work in the factories were the women from farms. They were the only people who could be you know, who wouldn't be missed, basically, because their brothers were needed for hard labor on the farm. So a lot of young women of all ages, went to work in the factories, which was incredibly empowering, because they could support themselves, they could send money home, they didn't necessarily have to just get married in order to, you know, be supported. And um, it was also really dangerous. And there was, of course, you know, there's the hashtag Me Too factory movement, right? And so this next song that I want to play is called No Fans. And when I first moved to Lowell, I was temporarily in this horrible apartment. But the cool thing about this apartment was that I could see the Wanalancet Mill from my window. And so when I watched the filmed interview from this woman named Celia Ting about this experience she had going to work on a hot day in the factory and looking for a fan and not finding one, and then finding out from her supervisor what had happened to the fan, you know, I really felt this real deep connection, you know, with her. And then, of course, as a park ranger working in the factories, but to tell the stories, I mean, it's a really powerful way to feel connected to people that, you know, that you've never met. So this is called No Fans. I'll never forget one day at Wanalancet, working the loom. Around 10:30, it was getting warm, so I says to the girls, I says, I'm going near the fan, I need to get cooled off. There's no fan. I'll look at the other end of the room. No fans for the girls, no fans. No fans at either end of the room. In the mill, in the summer, the girls are laughing, but me, I'm asking, what does he think of us? John, the millwright, goes by and I ask him, where's the fan? He says Mr. Larder took him to the farm to cool off the cows and bull. Fans at the farm, you've got to be kidding. Bring back those fans. Around 10:30 it was getting warm, but not for the cows and bull. No fan at either end of the room. In the mill, in the summer, the girls are laughing, but me, I'm asking, what does he think of us? What does he think of us? Oh, what does he think of us? So whenever I play that, then I remember Celia had this like amazingly thick Lowell accent. She'd be like, no fans. So I says to the girls, no fans. And it was so funny because I was saying, not funny, haha, but like when you give tours of the museum and you can go through and these videos are playing, it's like you really get to know the factory workers who were interviewed and are sharing these stories. And like people, my coworkers would be like, oh, Celia, no fans, and they would do the accent, and it was like it was like this connection across time, here in the same space. I mean, I would do tours in the Wanalancet and sing the Celia song, no fans. And it was a really it was a powerful way to remember that, even though a person has had a really different life or lived in a different time, that we're still all people. And so we experience the same range of emotions, the same fears, and hopes and dreams. And whether you're Republican or Democrat, or you lived in 1600 or 1900, or you live in India or Afghanistan or Belgium, I think pretty much everybody wants their children to have a good life. They want to have a good life, but especially like they'll work hard so that their children can have an even better life. I mean, I wouldn't exist if I didn't have relatives who had, immigrated, so that I could be alive. They left, Eastern Europe before the Holocaust because it was already really dangerous and people were being killed, or they had relatives who were killed. And so I exist because of really brave people. And now I feel like, part of my role is to share the stories of really brave people. And that's every one of us. Everyone who, even if you don't get out of bed during lockdown because you can't, you're brave just to keep breathing. So be kind and gentle to yourself. So I'm going to keep singing a few more songs here. This hour is songs, from asylum seekers, songs from factory workers. I've got so many more. So I have a feeling that this theme will carry on. I try to do something a little bit different each day, kind of depending on what I'm feeling and trying to work through, and depending on if people have sent me song requests, which you can definitely do. Sometimes I play songs by other artists. I was thinking like a movement song might be kind of fun since we're sort of isolated and stuck. So like trains, boots made for walking, perhaps. I've got an Arlo Guthrie song that I really love called Walking Down the Line. If you want to Google that and learn it so you can sing it with me tomorrow, that'd be super fun. So I'm going to sing, some more migration songs that I wrote with asylum seekers. This is a really nice one. and at least in Brussels, it's been really sunny, which was amazing. But for most of the winter, we had to kind of remember that the sun will come again. And this song is called "The Sun Will Come Again." The sun will come again. And we wrote it with a woman from Palestine, which is also cool because a lot of the people that we've met are men, which is fine. But women are often really busy with little kids, so we don't get to write songs with them as often. But this is a nice one. Okay, they're all nice. I'm so biased, but people are all so worthwhile, and each of us has a story that can be a song. I came from Palestine to live a new life. I was alone, I didn't know when I would see you. It's hard for me to see your pain. I want to see you smile again. So hold me, take me, fix me. I'm broken. Love me, heal me. The sun will come again. The sun will come again. We can fly like birds, see life from another side. The door's open wide, and nothing will be closed. It's hard for me to see your pain. I want to see you smile again. So hold me, take me, fix me. I'm broken. Love me, heal me. The sun will come again. The sun will come again. The story that she shared was about leaving Palestine. She left her husband there. She came here first, which often happens. People don't travel all together, and we've met people who have waited years to see their family again, and they can't just go and visit them while they're waiting to find out if they'll be granted asylum because they won't be let back in the country. It's really nice to be able to say that she was reunited with her husband, and they have two children. She had a child while they were, while we knew them at this refugee center. It's called Petit Chateau, Kleine Kastilje, and they've been granted asylum, which is pretty awesome. Like, good feelings. It does happen. We've met people who have not been granted asylum and have gone to other countries. So hopefully, those other countries have been able to allow them to stay. People who have gone back to their home country when they weren't granted asylum. Some people keep in touch with us, so we get to kind of at least keep a virtual connection. But yeah, it's just there's all these emotions, and going to the refugee center for me is a way to keep perspective. It's a way to be really thankful for what I have. It's a way to open my heart and what I'm able to offer to people who are in a space where they're not in control. They don't necessarily have a voice or a say in what happens to them, and in terms of being able to stay in Belgium, or be reunited with their families. So it's like a little thing that I can do. Um, but I think it's important. It's not necessarily whether you make a lot of money, or, I mean, money's nice. I call it this my karma career, you know. And I haven't found a way to trade in karma points for like flights or hotels, but luckily in lockdown, it doesn't really matter. So it's all good. I can just sing these songs for you and we can have this time together, which is special. So, trying to sing a mix of sort of like, songs that are really hopeful, songs that communicate some of the sadness in factory life and being an asylum seeker, and there's like a full range. There's a full range in those experiences. Um, this is a song. So I was just mentioning that we have friends that we made at the refugee center who were not granted asylum, and left. And a friend of ours, Mohammed, he went back to Iraq, and we wrote this song with him and a couple other asylum seekers called "Don't Wait, Create." And I think about this time, in lockdown as, if not now, then when, to think about what might bring you joy and to try to do it. Obviously we're limited in our capacity to do certain things that bring us joy, like climbing a mountain, unless you happen to live next door to a mountain, then go for it. But um, for me, it's a good time to just think about these people and these songs. I've spent a lot of time going through songs that I wrote years ago now so I can play them for you because I don't remember them because I haven't played them for so long. But this song is called Don't Wait, Create. How hard it is to love someone when you've been left behind. This is your life, don't let others live it for you. I have lived beautiful days and learned many things. I love good people and I love you very much. Don't wait, don't wait, create, create. Don't wait, don't wait, create, create. Quiero vivo como el mundo, alive in this world. Toda la vida en el momento. Quiero vivo como el mundo, alive in this world. Toda la vida en el momento. Don't wait, don't wait. Create, create. Don't wait, don't wait. Create, create. Some wait for hope, some wait for life, for opportunity. They don't live now, they don't seize the day. Don't wait for love, don't wait for hope, for opportunity. Live your life now, live it for today. Don't wait, don't wait. Create, create. Don't wait, don't wait, don't wait, don't wait. Create, create, create. Don't wait, don't wait. Create, create. Don't wait. What an amazing message. And I mean, what's so cool is that, um, so these songs that we've written with asylum seekers, it's like people take their power back through the words of these songs. They break down borders. They create safe spaces for everyone. They communicate these universal ideas that even if we're different, we're not so different, and our hearts all beat. We all have the same color blood. Just this idea that in art, at least, anything is possible. And then maybe in singing these songs and sort of, getting the messages out there, we can begin to make what's real in the land of art and music and poetry real in the everyday, in the values that we hold dear, and what we hold in our heart. If not now, then when? Don't wait. So I've got a few more minutes with you, and my co-volunteer Sarah's writing little comments, which just makes me so happy. Singing these songs, and it's this is for me. This is not a selfless act. I feel better as soon as I start singing, and I feel less alone when I see people joining and writing little comments, and just like sharing that connection. It's not necessarily for vanity, but really like purely, I mean, of course, I would love that, if one of these songs went viral and just went all over the world, because I really believe in the messages, and that we can overcome fear and build empathy and solidarity through the creative arts. Um, so it's cool. I mean, it's a neat thing here in this time of isolation to still be able to feel connected, uh, and still be able to bring art into the world. And so one of the songs that we worked on that I think has real potential. Just saying, if you love this song, you could spread it around the world. It's called the Pigeon Song. And because often in the winter, when we're at the Asylum Center, we create music in the company of the pigeons of Petit Chateau, because it's just really cold out and a lot of people are inside. But this song is really about the idea that we're not so different, and we can share each moment. Another hopeful message. I mean, my gosh, you know, people are so hopeful. It's hard to feel down when you sing these songs. I am a bird with a broken wing, but I'm still learning how to sing. Nobody likes me, nobody loves me, but still I sing every day. All I have is this moment. All I have is this time. We are not so different, you and I. Let us share this moment. Let us share this time. We are not so different, you and I. I woke up this morning and I could not hear my song, but somehow I found a way to carry on. All I have is this moment. All I have is this time. We are not so different, you and I. Let us share this moment. Let us share this time. We are not so different, you and I. When my song is hard to find, will you share your song with me? If we sing together, we create harmony. All I have is this moment. All I have is this time. We are not so different, you and I. Let us share this moment. Let us share this time. We are not so different, you and I. And there's a third verse that I don't really know that well, but I recently kind of rediscovered it, so I'm going to try to sing it. I hear the song from ancient times. This world is you and me. Me and you. Oh no, I don't remember it all. This is just going to be a bust. It's like something I hear this like song from ancient times. This world is me and you. And if we something something about like together we can like we can create something new. Anyway, which we can create something new, right? Each moment is an opportunity to create new energy, just like yoga teacher, right? So you like inhale that intention, that energy that you want to create, and you exhale and send everything else away. Send everything that's like holding you back. If not now, then when? Don't wait. Create. So I've got time for one more song today, and then I'll be back to sing for you again tomorrow. I'm going to look at these factory songs, and this song. So the song that I'm going to play is called Four Pennies. And so I played a song called No Fans earlier. That was from the story of a woman named Celia Ting. This song is from her sister. And they both have really thick, like Lowell, Massachusetts accents. They're really both vibrant. They're totally different. Um, and so her sister, Narcissa, she shared this story about like again just this being so thankful that she could get a factory job. She had a family that she knew that was her in. They put in a good word and helped her get a job. And she was saying, it was a really hard life, but it was a good life. And I mean, just their perspective really was amazing to me, because I was working in these factories as a park ranger sharing the story. So it's a pretty cush life, um, you know, and here are these people who spent like some of them, spent decades. One woman spent 54 years working in the factory. I mean, I'm 38, so I really can't imagine. That's more than I've been on the planet working in a really difficult, dangerous life job where you don't make a lot of money. But a lot of them talked about the factories being like a second home. And so I'll play those songs for you another day, but I'm going to play this one to remember Narcissa. The only way you could get a job is if you knew someone working in the factory. There was a family around the corner. I used to live in Tewksbury, and I went to work in the Lowell factory. That very family, they took care of me. Oh, it was a hard life, but a good life. Working in the factory hasn't hurt me. Got put on weaving that first week, got in trouble for poor quality. 4 pennies was all they gave me. My mom and dad, they looked at me. Is this all they asked me? 4 pennies. And I told them that's all they gave me. Oh, it was a hard life, but a good life. Working in the factory hasn't hurt me. Factory job taught me to save. Can't survive on 4 pennies with so many in my family. My life, it hasn't hurt me none, and everyone in my family, we're all working in the factory. Oh, it was a hard life, but a good life. Working in the factory was a hard life, but a good life. Working in the factory hasn't hurt me. And the crowd goes wild for songs written from stories. Oh, it's so amazing. Oh, Sarah says that maybe the end is, I hear a voice from ancient time. The past is me and you, but when we share this moment, we are making something new. Oh, it is. That's amazing. Big heart. It's true. We're making something new. Each moment we share together. Each moment we share who we are, our authentic selves, all, and all the joy and sadness, whatever it is that we're experiencing. Um, we create something new and we make space for vulnerability, for people to be who they are and to be celebrated, you know, as they are. And I think that's what these songs really do. Because any story that any person shares, I think something deep within is communicated that may not seem to have anything to do with the story, but that is important to them. And that in and of itself is something that's important to share. So that's why I write music, and that's why I'm singing for you for these lockdown concerts. And my dog just came up and was like, "Oh man, I think it's time for a WALK." He's been really enjoying these concerts. Oh, that's nice. He's giving himself a bath for you. Lovely. I think it's time to end the concert for this afternoon. Thanks so much for joining me from wherever you are in the world, from my heart and my home in Brussels to you. Be well, be safe, create joy where you can. Bye for now.